Hi everyone. So this is Mr. Haskell, and today I am going to go through the syllabus information with you. So please follow along. If questions come up as I go, make note of them, and please post them in the comment section of Google Classroom, not the comment section of the video on YouTube, but in Google Classroom. Okay, so syllabus starts out with my contact information. There's my email address, the tolls phone number with my extension, which if don't answer would send you to my voicemail, and then a remind code, which I'll talk about how you can get into later if you've never used remind. The syllabus will cover Algebra 2 and Pre-Calculus, so whichever class you're in, the information will be roughly the same. Materials for class, you'll need your iPad, of course. Pencil and paper may be needed. I'll talk about why in a little bit. Calculator is optional because you will have access to various calculator apps on your iPad. Specifically, we'll use Desmos, it's called. But so have a calculator or not if you want it. Digital resources, of course, your TOLS email address, which gives you access to the whole Google Education Suite, which means Google Classroom, Google Meet, Docs, all that stuff. It also gives you a YouTube account. I'll be using Notability, which I suggest you use. However, there are other apps that do the same thing and will be compatible. That's fine. And you'll have to install Desmos, as you can see right there. Find that in the self-service app and install it if it's not already there. That is the graphics calculator of choice for this course. Oops, I don't need that message. Format. Okay, so I'm basically planning 1 week at a time. Every week should include a couple of video lessons, 2 or 3. Each lesson will have an assignment that's associated with it, so I'm calling that an associated practice assignment. Each week there should be at least one extra review or extra practice or review assignment. That would not have a lesson necessarily with it. It'll just be an assignment that's posted. Occasionally there might be some other learning activity. I'll mention what that means. And then every week there'll be one quiz or a test. Also once per week I'll host a Google Meet for a large group of students that you can jump on. And then I'll do one-on-one Google Meets with individual students or possibly small groups even if the need arises. So let's start with video lessons. Like what I'm doing right now, this is a screencast. I'm explaining what's going on as you can see the screen of my iPad. With the lessons, I'll be using my Google Pencil to actually write notes. And this will always be accessible, as far as I know now, on YouTube. There may be another way to host it. If it's quicker and easier, I'll switch. But for now, it's YouTube. Associated assignments. So if today I give a lesson on the Pythagorean theorem, then you'll have an assignment on the Pythagorean theorem. Okay, I know that's geometry, but you get the idea. Each lesson, you will see the assignment in the lesson. I will use some of those problems as my examples, and then I will ask you to do the remaining problems for your homework. I will provide you with the answer key, and you are expected to check your answers before you turn in the work. Now, because you have access to the answers, I am insisting that you show your work in order to receive credit. There are students who take the answer key, copy the answers into the assignment and turn it in and expect to get credit for that, and that is not acceptable. And you know in algebra, pre-calc uses a lot of algebra, there are steps you have to go through to arrive at an answer, and I want to see that. Now, common sense things you don't need to write down. I know that everyone can do certain things in their head and you might skip steps here and there, but I also know certain problems involve a decent amount of writing, and I want to see that. Now, when it comes to getting a grade on an assignment, you will grade yourself. Seniors, it's going to be kind of like last year, but a little bit simpler. So basically, you do your assignment, you show your work, you check it. When you're done checking it, when you get problems wrong, I do want you to go back and fix them if you can. If you can't fix them, contact me, ask for help during one of our online sessions, or get help through, you can email me, or maybe you'll reach out to a friend. Maybe you can just search Google and find answers or find other YouTube videos that explain it. But I want you to do your best to get help and correct mistakes. That being said, once you're all done with a homework assignment, you are going to write on it your own grade from 1 through 10. Every assignment is going to be worth 10 points. That doesn't mean there's always 10 questions. There might only be 5 questions or there might be 20 questions. You're just sort of rating yourself on a scale from 1 to 10. You're going to set your own personal criteria on things like effort, completion, seeking help, retrying, things like that. If you feel you did a 10 out of 10 on this assignment, even if you did miss some, or you skipped one, maybe you skipped it because it was so easy you didn't need to do it, or maybe it was so tough it would just double the amount of time, you did everything else right, you still feel like you need a 9 or a 10 out of 10. I should be okay with that, generally speaking. I do reserve the right to lower grades if things don't seem right. For example, you only did half the assignment and you're still giving yourself 10 out of 10. I might take issue with that. Or you didn't show any work, you just have a list of answers. I'm not going to give you any points for that. But generally, if you write your grade on the first page, big and bold, circle it, whatever, I look at your assignment, I see a bunch of work, I'm going to give you that grade. I'm going to trust you unless something happens where it looks like I can't start, I have to stop trusting people. But for now, you're just going to rate yourself on a scale from 1 to 10 on each assignment. I kind of did this last year, but I had more specific criteria. This year, the criteria is a little more up to you. As long as you're showing your work and checking yourself, I'm going to take your grade. Okay, I think I've said everything about that. If something wasn't clear, type a question in the comments. Extra practice or review assignments. Like I said before, I may not give a lesson or a lecture every day. Maybe it's Wednesday. I've already taught Monday and Tuesday. I just want you to practice the same topics that I've already taught. So I'm not going to give a lesson. I'm just going to post an assignment and ask you to do it. Again, grade it, check it, grade it, put your points on it, and turn it in. Same as the other assignments. So extra practice or review assignments, basically the same as an associated assignment, except there's no lesson that goes with it. If we have a test coming up, I may do more of these to review topics that maybe it's been a couple of weeks since we've covered. As far as submitting assignments, your assignments will probably always be PDF files on Google Classroom, and I can think of 3 ways that you can do them. You're going to be submitting them through Google Classroom, which means you need a file that you can attach. Now, here's what you can do. The PDF assignment that I post, you can open it in Notability or another app kind of like that. You can use your finger or a stylus to do the work on the actual assignment and then submit it through Google Classroom. I'll see your work, I'll see your answers, I'll see your grade, and that's fine. And that way you're doing everything electronically. If you don't like doing it that way and you have a printer, you can print the PDF and then do it like a math worksheet like you've probably done in a bunch of classes you've already taken in your life. The only difference is you don't turn it in like in a basket on my desk. You take a picture of it and you attach the picture to Google Classroom and submit it that way. If you don't have a printer but you still want to do it on paper, fine, grab a blank sheet of notebook paper and just number it. And problem 1, work it out, circle your answer, problem 2, 3, 4. As long as you number it, your work is there, the answers are there, and you write a grade on it, take a picture of it, and submit that, and I'll be fine with that. You do not have to copy the assignment by hand. I don't expect you to do that. I've had students do that before. If that floats your boat, fine. But I do not want you to rewrite the entire worksheet down by hand and then work it out. You can just do the work on paper. That's good enough for me. But again, take a picture, submit it through Classroom. Every once in a while, you'll get a glitch. Google Classroom won't let you attach something, or there's some other problem, or maybe you're out for the day and you're doing work on paper and all you've got with you is your phone. You want to take a picture and email it to me. An occasional email is fine, but I can't have 120 students emailing me every day their work. It's not manageable. I need it through Google Classroom because it sorts it and it makes it easier for me to grade and things like that. Or I don't grade it, you grade it, I report the grades. So that's how you want to get used to doing it. If you're a junior and you've not done this before, you'll catch on after a few days. Seniors, you should already know how to do this. Okay, there was also something above where I mentioned various other learning activities. I understand that doing math worksheets every day gets old, so occasionally I'll try to do something to break up the monotony. So I might have you watch a YouTube video that I did not make, maybe someone else, maybe something else at Khan Academy, although to be honest, that guy's voice annoys me. But some other type of video, I'll say watch this video and then answer these 5 questions. And the questions might be about the video, or they might be math questions or something like that. Again, it'll be the sort of thing you could submit through Google Classroom. Or maybe I'll have you do a graphic organizer, take a picture, send it in, play a Kahoot, exploring how to do that through distance learning with a bunch of people, or other just creative things to try to get you to still do math but not fill out a worksheet every single day. Once a week we should have either a quiz or a test. Now quizzes will be sprinkled sporadically throughout the weeks as we go. I see a quiz as a feedback to you so you can know how you're doing. What that means is a quiz will consist of problems a lot like your homework that you've been doing. It will check the work for you. It'll give you a grade immediately. If you did poorly on it, that tells you things aren't going well. You might need to go back and work on some certain topics, and you'll see which ones you missed. A good grade is great. That grade will get recorded. Now, if you do a quiz, it's worth 10 points, let's say, and you only get 2 right, you don't have to settle with a 2-point grade. You can redo the quiz as many times as you need to get a score of 10, or maybe you're happy with 9 or 8 points, whatever. So the quizzes to me are not the most formal thing. I'm not worried about kids cheating on a quiz because you're allowed to redo it over and over until you get a good grade. Now a test, on the other hand, does measure your overall learning, and it's makes a big effect on your grade. So whenever we finish a unit of instruction, a unit might take 2 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever, that test will be worth a lot more points, 70, 80, 90, 100 points, something like that. And you only have one shot at that. So you're going to have a practice test ahead of time. You're going to have materials that you can review. You can go back and look at old assignments. I'll do live sessions to help you prepare for the test that's coming up, things like that. Now, if you really bomb a test and want a second shot at it, I'm going to try to work out a system where if you email me and request a redo, it won't be the same test, but it'll be very, very similar. And then if you do better on the redo, I'll take the higher grade. Last year I did retesting for anyone at any time they wanted it. It's a little easier to do in a classroom. I can just hand a kid a test, give them a period, and then they give it back. Online it's a little trickier. So if you want to retest, you got to ask specifically. I'll open up a window of time where you can do the retest, and then I'll take it, grade it. And again, if you do better, that's what's going to count. Again, if you have questions, if I'm not clear on anything, type your question in the comment section. As far as the live Google Meet, I'm going to do that 4 times a week. So on Monday, I'll teach Algebra 2. If you're in the building on Monday, then you won't be able to do that. But you see that, again, it's offered on Thursday, so you'll pop into the Thursday one. Tuesday, I'll do pre-calculus. If you're in your lab in the building on Tuesday, you can't do that one. You'll see that it's offered again on Friday. And then Thursday, Algebra 2, Friday, pre-calculus. So if you're in the building, you can't attend that class. There's always a second one that you can attend, and those will be at 1 o'clock, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Wednesdays, I'm leaving open for one-on-one help with people. I'll do one-on-one help during the regular Monday through Friday week as much as possible, so that's why I have individual help here. But that might not always be practical. There's other things I'll be required to do during the school day. But 9:40 to 10:05, 1:40 to 2:10 each day, I should be available to set up a quick Google Meet or Zoom if you prefer Zoom, and just work with you one-on-one, or even maybe a small group. If you got friends you want to all get on at the same time, we can do that. So during these meets, whether they're individual or one-on-one, I will not be teaching a structured lesson. I will just be going over examples and answering questions. It can be from the previous week. It can be on the current week. It can be to help study for an upcoming test. I'm going to let you kind of control the flow a little bit. If 30 people log on and no one has a question, I'll start putting questions out there and going over things so you can see something to review. As far as attendance goes, each day there's a question of the day. You have to log on, answer the question. They're not going to be terrifically difficult, and if you get it wrong, it's not going to hurt your grade. It's just to prove that you got into your classroom for that day. And it's a paper trail or digital trail that you've been attending school. Let's see, if you're in the building on Monday, you do not have to answer Monday's question of the day. You're already, your lab instructor is taking attendance for that day, or Tuesday or Thursday or Friday, whatever the case may be. If you have time during the day, you want to jump in and still answer the question, fine. I'm okay with that, but you don't have to. Grades, this is more for juniors or seniors who haven't been to TOLS before. We're on a typical 10-point scale, as you can see, so 100 to 90, 89 to 80, etc. Below a 60% is failing. TOLS does not have plus-minus grades. Your homeschool might do plus-minus grades. So when your transcripts are sent to your homeschool, they may adjust things. So a C here might be a C plus at, I don't know, maybe Jonathan Alder, but at West Jefferson it's not. It's just up to your individual school to determine what to do with the grade. As far as your TOLS grade, you either get an A or a B or a C or a D or an F. So that was my first note right there, no plus minus grades. My second note, I am a mathematician. After all, I do follow rules of rounding. So in my class, if you get an 89.5, that is equivalent to a 90%, so that's still an A. So the easiest grade to get in this class is an F. The second easiest grade to get in this class is an A, because there's 11.5 points that qualify as an A. Every other one is 10.5 points. So keep that in mind. Because the whole class for now is online, TOLS does have a technology agreement that you're supposed to know and sign. So I put a link to there if you want to look through that. It's like 4 pages long, so I didn't put it in the syllabus. All right, we're up to the last thing. One way to possibly communicate to you besides email is through Remind. So if you have never done Remind before, text the number 81010 and your message will be that @ code right there, and that will enroll you in my Remind class. This is for all students. I'm not separating it out as far as Algebra 2 and Pre-Calculus. I'm not separating it out second period, third period, fourth period, nothing like that. So everyone will be lumped in there, and that's just basically a way for you to text me or me to text you. I'm not comfortable giving my personal number to all my students, and I don't want all of your numbers in my contacts list anyway. So this sort of Remind sort of creates a wall of professional separation between student and instructor, but it still has the ease of texting back and forth. And you can share this with a parent as well if they want the Remind. Then they can text me directly if they need to, or I can text them. So share this with a parent or guardian if that is important to you. But I do ask that at least you enroll. That way quick questions can get answered right away. If I'm out grocery shopping and you have a question, I get a text right away, as opposed to having to wait till I get home and then happen to get on a computer and check to see if I have any emails. So that's something I'm asking you to do. Okay, I'm going to stop there. Again, any questions, post them in the comments, and I look forward to working with you this year. Hopefully we get to a point where we'll be back in the class.